thank you for joining me today. This is Empowering Educators with Ronnette Branham, and I am so excited to have you here with me today, tuning in. I know I say that over and over and over, but I really am. You can see it on my face. I am actually excited. I have a new outlet where I know I want to see you here. I say I go live twice a month, so this is twice a month. I'm looking forward to going live in May and June, and then July I'm going away for 2 weeks, maybe three in total, like the first 3 weeks of July. So we're going to see what happens with that. How can I do that? Because that's another endeavor that I'm going on, and I will be excited to share that with you also. So next week I'm looking forward to I'm speaking into existence right now, and I believe what I am saying because I'm going to see you here next week when I go live, and that is going to be next week on. Let me look at my calendar. Next Tuesday. This is April 22nd. So I'm going to look forward to you for April 30th. My calendar is empty April 30th, and I'm going to be seeing you April 30th with me. I need some people. I don't need some people. I want some people here with me next Tuesday going live discussing quitting your job. I said it, quitting. I know plenty of people want to quit. So I'm going to go over some things today about that, discussing that. And remember, my theme is always, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to quit? Are you going to keep on working? Are you going to keep on complaining through that working? How is this going to work? Because there's something that we have to do, and we're going to get that thing done. So again, I'm Ronnette Branham, and I am so excited for this session today, and then more so next week when I have you here in dialogue, trialogue, whatever you want to call it, when many people coming in to next week to have a discussion with me. And I don't know what that is. So some lynch or something. No, this is it. So I am me, me is me. So I had to make sure I'm looking straight for you guys. So um again, let's discuss what we're gonna do. This is again, some people are done. No, maybe not done. They made people get done. You know, I'm finished school in June, so we have a lot of things coming at us. For real, we have a lot of things coming at us. What do you do when you have administration changing curriculums? You just got this curriculum, this reading program, math program 3 years ago. Here you go, you got new administration, they're changing it. They're saying this is not working, and it's working for you. It's working for the teachers. You know, you don't know the people who it's not working for. Matter of fact, you might find those people, but it's not working for them because they're probably not using the program. You know, if it's something that's working for you. Now, you may have one that's new that does, and then they decide to put something that you don't even understand how they chose it because it's not even measuring up to anything. I mean, you know how you have a rubric and you're measuring up, um, and you're measuring the curriculum up against this rubric. What are the things you need for this curriculum? You need to make sure it has dual language. Some people have more than that, but you could at least have Spanish if you have a high Spanish population. Now, if you have a high Mandarin or some kind of Chinese, that's different. Maybe you have to make sure you that measures up. Whatever the languages, dual languages that you have, mostly in your district. We have Spanish. I met two little kids the other day who are in a dual language program. Mind you, the dual language is Espanol y Inglés. That's the dual language, right? We have like a 90%, 90 something percent population of Spanish speaking students. And this one class I was talking to the students, I was like, whose class is this? I saw these two students and they said, I speak. I think they're from Haiti. I'm not sure, but they said they speak Creole or something like that. I think that's a form of French. I don't know, because I don't know. But I'm thinking they're from Haiti. And they speak English very well. I don't know what the parents want them to have dual language, but they didn't. I don't think they understood Spanish, or they want their kids to learn Spanish, so they said they speak another language. and this is what we have for them is Espanol, which doesn't make sense because it's supposed to support their home language. But I said that to say we have these programs that don't even support the language that's most popular, however you call it, dominant in your district. How did they choose this? You're looking at this stuff. When once they get it, they have to go and translate it. Who does that? You spend thousands of dollars on this program and you have to translate. Why didn't you keep what we had? My opinion, what we had in my district was absolutely fabulous. I can assign work for students who read kindergarten level. This is talking about my ELA, my literacy, who read kindergarten level, first grade level, third grade level, Spanish. I can assign those books, the same books or the same topic, because the programs, the grades matched up. If it was technology, this part, we were in unit 10 is technology. Everybody had technology, and then it had the same books, and the students were learning what you were teaching on their level. Which I had a student who she could read very well English, but she didn't know what she was reading. But she read Spanish and understood Spanish last year, and I was able to assign those books to her. And then she had some friends, because they came from bilingual programs. They were able to read together. That was fantastic. This year, I don't care who's listening. We don't have that. We don't have that. So I said that to say, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I keep talking about that. What are you going to do? Are you going to use what you have, your unique style, your energy? Are you going to, I have some things that I lost my spot. How are you going to incorporate the tools that you have into your educating your students? I know small group is a big thing when the students are on different levels. Small group is it for me. Getting into that small group and working small group at the student's level, teaching to the whole class, right? That's something that's big for me. Now, mind you, well, it will work no matter what the language is of your student, because you can get to with that Google Translate, get with all this technology we have. You can get with it and work with a student or two students one-on-one. That is one thing that you can plan, because I'm reading a book, and it's called 10x is better than 2x. Don't ask me who wrote it. I don't know. I actually bought it, but I don't need to, because I'm listening to it with my group, my live book read. And so we are reading this book, and it's talking about 10x, and it's talking about focusing and deciding what you want, the most important thing that you want. What is it that you really truly want? And go after that. I really truly want to educate my students, so that means I'm going to find a way to educate all the students in my class. I am so blessed right now to have 11 students in my class, as opposed to the 50 I had a few months ago. I mean, I said 50 because there was two classes. That's a whole other story. I had two classes. I had to swap them in the middle of the day so that they could get their bilingual, their Spanish speaker teacher. Yeah, I was collateral damage. How was that? But anyhow, it worked. It didn't work, but it worked, because I had to find a strategy, 2 strategies, 5 strategies to work with my students, to educate my students. So we want to find some strategies that we can do. What happens when you have students who don't speak your language? That's another thing. Who do not speak your language, you have to educate them. What are you going to do? Are you going to use Google Translate? Are you going to, there's something, I don't know, these people use, it's something in their hand that they it's like some kind of translator that the people in that school and in this school that I'm in now, who they have, and they keep saying it like it's something I should know about, when all I use is Google Translate, because where I came from, we used Google Translate because we were getting loads of students in. We were general ed, loads of students in. Before I became that bilingual teacher last year, we had students coming in when we had a supervisor who she told the district people, supervisors and things like that you're going to get an influx of Spanish speaking students. You have to be prepared to educate these students. But I wanted to listen to her, and we had all kind of hurricanes and things in Puerto Rico and all these places. Honduras, people came, And then we had them in our classrooms, and we didn't know what to do with those students because we were general ed teachers. So we had my school adopted for Google Translate. So we were Google translating everything. Okay, what happens when you get a new curriculum, a new program of some sort, no matter what it is, science, social studies, English, math, whatever you teach, they come up with something new. You could teach computers. I don't care if you got a new curriculum and you find out. I'm going to give you an example. You get a new curriculum, right? I got a new curriculum. And I wanted to practice it out. I wanted to try it and get a little feel for it. I knew this was what we had. I knew last school year this is what we were adopting, right? We knew this. Everybody knew it. They said throw out all your other stuff. Some stuff I didn't throw out, I kept. Thank God, I kept from my last curriculum because I'm teaching my students how to read. Okay, that's something. See, all these things that are deterrents or causes of teachers quitting their jobs, resigning, saying, I have had enough. I can't do this anymore. So I heard somebody told me, I hear in your speech, I hear resilience. I hear dedication. I hear that stick to itiveness. I don't know what she all said. I have to go back and listen to the video. But she was saying, you are saying things, because that was me. I would have gave my 2 weeks notice. All these things that you are saying happening at one time. So I'm just saying, I had this new correct reading program coming in. There was the school that I am at now, which I just got to in September. They piloted the program. See, I piloted the math, so I can help them with the math because I did it last year. They did this reading. Not to mention, when they did the reading, they knew they didn't like it. It didn't work for them at all. You couldn't make it work. I mean, we're making it work, but you couldn't really make it work. It does. You can't make it make sense why we have it. So I said that to say, see, I go all the way along. It's supposed to be a straight shot. Say what you say it well, and say it with brevity. So I'm learning. So with this is I had no access to it, none until like 2 days. I swear it was 2 days. It was. We came to school for our orientation or whatever you call it at the beginning of the year, and I didn't have it then. I didn't have that day. I didn't have it. And this is right. You go 2 days orientation, maybe three. I don't know if it's three. I think it's two. One day to clean up your class, one day, half a day for this, and one whole day for that. So yeah, whatever that was, that's when I was supposed to learn this what I needed to learn. So what are you gonna do when this happens? You have no training. They say you're gonna have training. It's the middle of 2 weeks after school starts. You're gonna get this training. A month after school starts, you're gonna get this training. Then you get to the training, and they say, "Oh, this is a 3 hour training, and we only have an hour and a half. This is a 3 day training, and we only have an hour and a half." Okay. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna quit? You say your job is more than a calling, more than a job. It's more than teaching. It's a calling. That's what we say. We say that. It's a calling. So God called you to this job. I know you said He called me to teach you, but He didn't call me to that job. That's the job you have, man. It's working. Um, that's the job you have, right? You chose it. You said yes to it. And sometimes we ask for things that we don't ask for how we want it. We just want to teach any job. You know how people used to say, I want a job, any job. But okay, that's what we have. We have this job and we want to teach, and we have these students coming in. We have to teach them. So go. Now you have to do what? Learn on the job. Are you going to take that book home, that teacher's manual home, and learn it, study it, get to know it as much as you can? At least the first unit, the first month of lessons or whatever it is. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to just say, I'm going to wait till I get training and then I'm going to do my own thing, because you have to teach something? Are you going to teach what you know? There's so many things we could do. There's so many things. Then you get, what else could we have? We could have not material. You could come to school and you don't have material for whatever it is that you're trying to do. You're trying to teach science, math. You need some manipulative. Just students cannot add on a piece of paper with the numbers. They need some manipulative things to count. And you don't have it. What are you going to do? What I would do is I would use drawings, or there is an app, not an app, a site online where you could use manipulatives by moving them. I forgot what it's called. I forgot. I could find it out and post it in these notes. But there's we have manipulatives, online manipulatives, where you can move the counters and things like that. The tens, the ones, whatever you want trying to move. You can use whatever they have, and so you could use that. I think that's from Eureka Math, but I'm not sure. But it has manipulatives that go with that program. So are you going to teach them drawings? That's what I did. One of my students, she couldn't count. She could count things, but she could not count 6 plus 5 in her head, or do 5, 6, and then count the 5 more. She couldn't. It doesn't work. She needed things to count. She's doing 2 and 3 digit addition and subtraction because she's able to draw it. That is something that I had to learn. Other students need more of your attention. What happens when you have students coming in and they need all of your attention? They are so needy. I don't know how this happens. They are so needy. They need you working one-on-one with them, but you don't have an IEP saying they need a one-on-one. You don't have a doctor's note. You don't have anything saying this child needs one-on-one attention. You don't know that, but you understand that you need to offer. So when you do small group, are you able to just have her or him and one other person, or just them? You say, I'll give you 10 minutes. Come sit with me and we're going to work this thing out. If you don't, then what are you going to do? How are you going to make this thing work? Have a conversation with everybody, all the stakeholders, him or her, the parent, the child, the administration. Say, this is what I have to do. So you come in and I'm doing a small group with one person. This is what it is, right? How about what happens when you have students coming in and they're not on the grade level? You have things to read. Everything that you have to read is grade level material. They are unable to read it. What are you going to do? You have to teach the curriculum. So what does that mean? You're reading, doing all the reading. So then, small group, I tell you, small group is it. That is where you help to bring those students up to where they need to be. I happen to be at a great level because we still have phonics in 2nd grade. So I do phonics with everyone. And then I give them words and sounds and sentences. I dictate. They tell me, they write, they offer up words and suggestions like about the subject that we're talking about. So that is a plus for having 2nd grade students. And then I get with my students and we work together. I just thought, what happens when you have students who are above grade level? They're past that. They're reading the next grade, and you have elementary school students. You need to work on something different that they need. They need certain sounds that are not taught in 2nd grade, or they're taught lightly. Not 2nd grade words. They're 4th, 5th, 6th grade words. And you have to get with that student. Again, that's that small group. Teach at grade level. When they're working on their own, get in that small group and educate those students a different way. You may have to give them whole other assignments that are not what the class is doing. You have to be able to do that. So that differentiation is what we must do. Will you advocate for your students when you know they need something that you cannot provide? Will you advocate for yourself and your peers, your coworkers, when you know you need something that you don't have? Will you collaborate with other teachers? What will you do? Will you quit? When you say I've had enough, enough is enough. Nobody is listening. You know, somebody's listening, but nobody, the people who count, are not listening. They're doing their own thing. They have their own agenda. Not everybody. Now, some people have that great district where they everything is provided. That your students come in on grade level because they started it at the beginning. They are have their system together, whatever that system is. Some systems are flawed and broken. You know, some systems are together, but we have to come in there perfectly, working perfectly, being perfect. So let's do our job perfectly. You know, we have these people coming in analyzing our work. We have these people coming and doing observations, watching what you do, and they're looking at this rubric. Oh, she has the visual. She has the high level, high order questions, the higher thinking questions. She has uh I don't know what else. Differentiation. You know, he or she, whatever you are. Uh, and then they're grading you. But they come in for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 at the most, one period. When you're doing everything, what if they come in on a day that you're reviewing? You're not teaching. You're reviewing because you have learned things for this unit, and now here they popping in. So then, are you going to change what you're doing? You know, are you going to explain, this is what I'm doing, this is why? Because we already studied, we did this, and then you're going to tell us you got excuses because it looks like you didn't plan when all the while you plan, but then you know what they're looking for because you're trying to get fours or fives or whatever you have in your system on this. Me, I don't know how to fake it. I'm just me where I go. And I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And then I'm trying to piece it together. Then it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Not that I don't look like, it looks like I didn't have any plans. It looks like I'm just winging it. You know, like I don't like doing that. But I'm learning now. You do what you do. I mean, do what you do. My outcome is evident. My students has grown. You can test them yourself. I promise you, test them yourself, you're going to get the same outcome as I said they grew. Their tests show it. I didn't fudge a test. I didn't do any of that. You test them the same way I did, and the same, you will find my students have grown. Not saying I'm out in there doing my own thing, start making my own curriculum, because I refuse to write my own curriculum. I'm not doing that. I'm using the material that you gave me. But there's times when you come in, you pop in, and you're looking. So I would rather my administration come in as much as they want. Come in once a week, once every 2 weeks. I don't care. Last year, I had people coming in all the time. My classroom was like a revolving door. People coming in my classroom. That didn't bother me. It set the stage of I'm doing what I do. So what else is there? Let me see. I have some more things. I'm just going to take it off the notes because again, where you share with your family, with the families, your fellow teachers, your administration, so you can be accountable because you have a plan. Set up for that plan. What is it that you really want to do? What you truly want to do? I want to teach my students how to read this level, these standards by this time. You know, I want them to be able to answer questions, ask questions. I want them to be able to tell a story with all detail. You know, write using detail. You know, using right grammar, punctuation. That's my goal. Overall, my true goal, and for me, is educate my students where they're ready for the next grade. I need my students to be ready for the third grade. So, how is that going to? What does that look like? You know, what does it look like? It has to work for you. You know, you have the ability. You have the ability to rise above every challenge. I know you do because when you went to college wasn't easy. You know, it might have been. It wasn't hard, but it wasn't. You still had challenges. You had to. You have the ability to rise above, to innovate, to use all kind of technology or innovations that there are available. You have the ability to inspire your students to be lifelong learners. That's what I'm talking to my parent-teacher conferences. Forget about these. Forget about these scores. that you're looking at. Oh, my child is not reading where it should. My child is not writing the way it should. All that kind of nonsense. Forget about that. Teach your child. We want to teach your child how to be a lifelong learner. We want to teach your child how to learn. And, to learn that so they can be ready for life. They can be ready for life. So we want to work on that. We want to, if we have to study things, stay focused. We remember why we are here. What is your goal? Again, I keep saying that. We could use, how about if you want to do project based learning, so that the learning is, we have a project where you're making glue. So we have to learn all about all the material, the texture, the properties of glue that we want. Then in the end, we end up making glue. So the goal is to make glue, but you just can't just go get a recipe. You don't want to just go get a recipe. You want to know how glue is formed. What are the properties? What is it that I'm looking for, so that I'll know my project was successful. We had project where we ended up, I said it before, where we had a farmer's market with my students, because we learned vending, we learned buying and selling, and we learned money. And it was all around the same time. And so we ended up with, we learned money so well that we could give change back, for dollars and things. I don't know how come it was so, we learned so much. And this time it seemed like we didn't this year. But I used all my ink up making color pictures. I saved those pictures now to have, and we made banners and things like that to sell. We had people coming in, so the end goal was a farmer's market. How can you have a farmer's market if you don't know how to give change, count money, right? Whether it's change or dollars, you have to be able to do that. And you have to know how to sell. You have to know how to undersell something, undercut the price, because that person may be selling for a higher price and you want the customers to come to you. So you have to learn a little bit about business, right? We had to learn those things. We even had to learn the different kind of fruits that came from different countries, that were popular in different countries. So there's a lot of things that went into that, So we had to know how to spell, because we had to make a banner, for our tables. There was a few things you had to know in order to get this underway. So that's project-based learning. You have a project and you have to learn everything you need for that project. A lot of things. You have to discuss practical approaches in progress monitoring. Monitoring your students. See if you're getting the outcomes that you want, right? And then test them, like I said with my students with the SMART goals. 2 weeks, see if they're making any progress. If they're not, adjust what you're doing so that we can meet these goals. So there's a lot. I just want to say again, what are you going to do to educate your students? Or are you going to quit? I'm not telling anybody to quit, because we know this is a calling. This is not just a fly-by-night job. Some people have it as a fly-by-night job. My mom taught, so I'm going to teach. I remember my mom was home every summer. I want to be home every summer. Every holiday I have, all that kind of nonsense. That doesn't take away the fact that you have actual students in your class who need to learn. It's not about vacationing and when you're going on vacation. It's nothing about that. It's about your purpose. Your purpose is to educate students, whatever grade. Work on that. Think about what it is that you are there to accomplish. What is it that you truly want? Do you truly want just a paycheck? Then that's something different. You can go anywhere to get a paycheck. It doesn't take much to get a paycheck. They are paying people with no college degree like $20 an hour. I don't know. Hey, if that's all you want is a paycheck, there are a lot of jobs. You could work for yourself, selling something, whatever it is. But I know if you say this is your vocation, this is your calling, this is your purpose, let's get on it. So quitting is not an option. Complaining is not an option, because complaining is not going to help. You go to your administration, you need to have a solution. Well, I thought this out. I collaborated with other teachers, and this is what we came up with. This will work for us. right? This will work for our students. This will work for our district and our school. This is what we came up with. Go there like that. You cannot go with no answers, asking for answers, because that's not how it works. You ask for answers when you have a solution. You have the solution, probably. Whether they use it or not. I'm just saying complaining does not work. They look at you, they mark you, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, who cares? But in the end, you have to do your job, educate your students. How are you going to do that? How are you going to maneuver through this uh, bureaucracy, right? Maneuver through the things that you have and don't have, and work on your wants. I want to educate my students. Don't work on what you need. You're going to always need that. You're going to always need. I mean, unless you are one of those in one of those districts that has it all together. I have not been there yet. Now, maybe when I was in preschool, we had everything that we needed. That's not even true. We had everything that we needed. There was nothing that we needed that we didn't have. That even we got funny acting because by a certain year, when they start cutting funds, we were like, "That's all we get." When, mind you, we had already had everything we needed. We just had to take care of it. Kind of disposable something, but so yeah, there are districts that have everything. I just happen to not be in that one. So I know if they listen to this, they say, "You have what? Don't you need?" Whatever. Anyhow, just have a solution. You're not going to quit. I mean, some people listen, some people quit. Maybe this is the thing that's going to keep you, because this is your job. What are you going to do? You're going to go working for somebody for little pay, and then you're going to be miserable because that's not what you said you are called to do. You said you're called to teach. Unless you could teach in another level or something, you may go to a college level or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you open your own school. That's a goal. You know, maybe you teach. You speak to administration. That's the job you have. Maybe you are a professional development coach or consultant or something like that. But I ask you again, what are you going to do to educate your students? What are you going to do to meet your true want? What it is you truly want? My true want is to educate my students. What am I going to do to educate my students? I'm going to work small group, one on one, whatever. I have to do my own research sometime and learn what it is I need to learn. Learn those curriculums that I don't have, I don't have a true understanding of. So again, I thank you for being here. I thank you for tuning in, and I look for you next week. I promise you, I'm looking for you next week. If you want to be one of on the call, let me know. I'm looking for you next week. I am looking for you next week because I am ready to have this deeper conversation. And what are we going to do to help us help, ourselves? Like what? How are we going to help ourselves? We keep asking questions and begging people. You have to beg for anything. Just be what you want and do what you want and make it happen. There's nothing that you need really to teach a child except what's in here. You have the ability. Everything you need is in here. It's in your brain. So let's get it. Let's work it. Let's make this happen. And I'll see you next week, Tuesday, April 30th, live and in person, not in person, live with you on a call. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for at least 5 other faces on here, 5 other people calling in live that we could hear them, right? So we can have this discussion in real life, in real time. Thank you and have a great day. This is again Empowering Educators with Ronnette Branham. Yes, you hear that? That's my Ronnette Branham's Empowering Educators. Yes, that's what we're doing. And have a great day.